Hello project managers. So in this video, I'm gonna show you a workflow that I built using NA10. So for those who don't know what NA10 is, it is an automation platform that incorporates AI features. And for us project managers, it is an efficient way to automate part of our tasks or our activities during our project execution. So this workflow performs the specific tasks. It generates meeting minutes from a raw meeting transcript. So let's say you have a kickoff meeting about a project that is just starting out, and then you get the meeting transcript from Google Drive. For example, if you use Google Meet and the transcript is generated after the meeting and is somewhere on your Google Drive, you can trigger this workflow in order to generate automatically the meeting minutes out of this transcript. So let me run it. So you will get an idea of how it works. And then I will walk you through every node. You will get to understand what is generated exactly and how it is configured to generate such an output. So now what you are seeing here is the workflow being executed. There is a parallel execution using 4 AI different nodes here, each one performing a specific task. And then it goes to an email generator that will generate an email. And then that will be created as a draft, as you can see here, and uploaded on a folder in a Google Drive so that you can see it. So here is what is generated. I will show it to you so you will see what it looks like. So let's go to the emails. So what you're seeing here is the draft generated. Let me just show you what the transcript looked like. So this is a transcript for a mock transcript that I generated using AI. So it's about a project named Talent Scout AI. And this is the transcript generated. So you can see here the date and the time of the meetings and the details of the meeting. So this is a traditional classical transcript, as you may see in most of your meetings. There were a lot of topics discussed around the statement of work of the project, and there were decisions taken during that meeting. And this is what is reflected in the minutes that we just saw here. So there is a section with the attendees of the meetings, everyone with their name and their role in the project. There is a summary of what was discussed during the meeting. And then there are the various action items here. As you can see, for example, for the design and prototyping of the solution, the designer is the UX designer. For the next task, the resume and job description, sample provision, that's the role of the project manager. So you will see here that I'm the project manager. So it perfectly makes sense. So there is the list, the attendees list, the summary of the project, the action items, and also there is the mood of the meeting, which is really important for project managers to get to understand if it was a productive and positive meeting or if there were some concerns, if the client was not satisfied, or if for any reason there was something that went wrong. It may come from the team as well. But this meeting mood section is very important. So this is what is generated as a draft email. So once you receive it, you as a project manager, you can send it out to all the meeting attendees or the persons that are supposed to receive that meeting. And at the same time, there is an HTML version of that document that is generated. So if I download that generated version and I open it here, you will see that it is basically the same contents here. It is just that it is in the form of a document, so you can print it and everything. But basically, it does it very well because the format is very crisp and the content is the same as the one that you saw in the email. So this is for when you want to keep it in your record and use it in the future in the project during the execution. Because as a project manager, you have to keep the documentation up to date consistently throughout the project execution. So let's dive into the workflow itself. So if you want to use it and try it out, go to na10.io because this is the simplest way to get started with na10. You register on the website and you create an account. I think that you will have 15 days usage for free So you will understand how it works. There are other ways to use A10. You can download it and host it locally on your computer. Another way to do it is to self-host it, but the simplest way is to go to the website and create an account there. So you will start using it, and if you like it, maybe you will find another way to host it, or maybe you will just stick to the cloud version. It starts with the trigger that you can see here, and then the trigger is just the entry point of the workflow. Then there is this node. This is what is called the set node. Basically, I use it to configure and set the variables in terms of documentation for the project. So you can find it here. You go to the folder and you select at the end of the URL. This section is the folder ID. You could add the URL if you want. There are many ways to configure it but in this workflow, you just copy the file ID and you paste it here, and the folder ID, you paste it here. And for the file ID, it is the same process. You go here, and the transcript that you created that is hosted on Google Drive, you just go over here and you copy that portion. This is the file ID, and you paste it here. This node here, the file download node, this is a Google Drive node that receives the file ID from the previous node. So this ID is the one that is received here, as you can see. So you can see here that the application has been downloaded as a PDF document. This is important because we need this format of the document in order to process the content of that transcript and pass it over to the next node. So the next node requires it in PDF format. This is an extract from file node. Basically, it takes a PDF document here, binary file, and it extracts the content of that file and provides an output in this form. As you can see, this is the information of the file itself, but the content of the document, you can find it here. So this is the text that we will use and pass to the next node. These nodes here, they're very specialized nodes. I could have used one AI agent to extract all this information, but I choose to use specialized AI nodes for many reasons. If you give all the instructions to one agent, it may not be as efficient, and it may be overwhelmed and lost and provide less accurate information. So the first one, the information extractor, it is basic. I just define the format of the data that I want. So I give him an example so he knows exactly what information to extract from it. So I want the project name, the meeting date, the names and the role of the attendees, and he knows exactly what to extract based on the example given to it. So it extracts the attendees, names and roles, project name, and the meeting dates. Then the other one is the sentiment analysis. So you could add as much categories as you want, but usually by default, there is positive, neutral, and negative. So based on the file or the document or the data given to it, is able to determine in which category it falls. And then there is the summarizer that summarizes the meeting. I decided to have a 200 word summary because I don't want it to be wordy. As you can see here, the value of the variable here is text. This is what you can see here, and this is what is analyzed. So it receives the data itself and then analyzes it and outputs a summary, a 200 word summary from it. And then the last note is the action item. So this is a basic LLM chain. The prompt is lengthier here from the others. I want items that require significant effort, more than a couple of hours of work. So basically, I don't want a list of 20 action items. I just want the main action items. So the AI needs to understand what criteria to apply in order to identify those action items. So the criteria is the following: significant effort, meaningful impact, and I state clearly here that I don't want small, routine, and low impact tasks, such as replying to emails or scheduling meetings. And I just add for context here the date and time, because it is important. The AI needs to know what date and time we are, because sometimes in the discussion, for example, if we say that it is due for next week, it needs to know when next week is. Having this environment variable that tells the AI, what date and time we are today, is very important because it helps it determine the other dates and get a more accurate estimate of it. So once all these tasks are performed separately, the outputs are all gathered by this merge node. So there are 4 input branches here. And what the merge node does, it combines the results by position. So number 1 of each branch, and it outputs it in the form of one JSON object that you can see here. So there is one output, and the output contains all the information that we want: the sentiment analysis, the summary, the attendee's name, and the name of the project. So that's the first one here. And the second one is the sentiment analysis, the third, the meeting summary, and the fourth, the action items. So all these outputs are gathered and passed over to the next node, which is TML email generator. So I just want to mention a quick thing here. I'm using OpenAI GPT OSS model, which is a free model. I'm using it because I just need a free model here. I don't need a specialized model to extract this information. And using OpenRouter, there are free models that are offered through OpenRouter. If you go to OpenRouter and you sign up to OpenRouter, you will find all the models here. And if you type free, for example, you will see most of the models that are free. So I'm using it because I want to use the free models in order to generate these outputs here. But for the HTML generator, I'm using a paid model because of the coding capabilities. So I'm using here Anthropic Claude Sonnet 4.5 because it has the ability to generate those emails that you're seeing here, beautifully drafted emails without giving much instructions. It is not free, it is more expensive, but I just want to use the free models to generate the information and then to use the paid model, Anthropic Claude Sonnet 4.5, in order to generate the email. So the email generator, it is simple. I give this AI node the attendees list, and then the summary, and then the action items, and then the sentiment analysis. So this is what it uses as information in order to be able to generate an email. So once the email is generated, I have to clean it up. I have to clean it up by replacing some strings here. That I don't know if you can see them here, but there are some strings that I need to replace in order to get a clean HTML in order to pass it over to the next node, to the email node. So then I send it to the email node and I provide the date of the meeting. So I provide this information from the merge node and then the content of the email that comes from the cleaned up email. So this is what is used in order to create a draft email that will be sent to the attendees. And then on the other end, from the cleaned up email that I have here, I just encode it using JavaScript function. So I create a variable here named base64 underscore encoded. And I use that email that I received here and apply the base64 encode function. And then it provides me an encoded version of that content that will be used in order to create a file and upload it. So the base64 is used to create a file using this node convert to file and this operation base64 string to file. It takes the information, base64 encoded, and then output a data file, a binary file here that is downloadable. You can see it here. But that is the one that will be used and uploaded here in Google Drive. So I upload it, I change the name here using the project name minutes hyphen the date, and I upload the created file into a folder that is named minutes that you can find here. So this is what I download and open with the correct name, and that you can see here as a document. So this is the workflow, how it is designed. If you want to get the JSON file of this workflow, you just have to go to the community, which links is in the description of this video. You go and you sign up to my community. It is available for free. Then you download this JSON file You go to your n8n instance, you import it there. Once you go to n8n, you just go here and you import from file. You select the JSON file and it is imported. Then you will have to create your credentials and everything and make it work. So the workflow is available for free in my community. Just sign up. You will find it in the post inside my community and import it, use it. And if you need help, please reach out to me. Thank you.